Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your weekly reading for May 19th to the 25th. This is for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Yeah, we're going to jump right into it. Sagittarius, welcome to one of the biggest weeks of the year. And that's because you see Saturn is moving into Aries. This is a huge highlight for 2025. And as you know, this is now the third of the 4 outer planets that are changing signs this year, but in this compressed period of time. This is history making. And you know, there's more to it. You know, it's not just Saturn moving into Aries. There's a lot more that I've explained. And I'll do a separate video too. But this is a landmark moment. Okay. This is of epic cosmic proportion, which we will discuss. Look at what's happening on the same day too. One of the strongest, we're going to go through this, but I'm just really excited for you. I'm really excited for you, especially this week. You're going to your life is already changing, and you know that. You've been going through experiences, and you know that, right? And now, especially since mid-March, right? And now, remember, this is the year of the Great Awakening. It's the year of ascension. We're on the brink of the age of Aquarius. It's a really big year. But I'll go through, what you've been going through since mid-March, but let's just jump right in, okay? To the most stimulating, exciting, insanely optimistic, fruit-bearing, least boring week of May. All right. And remember, the blue asterisk, by the way, they're the best aspects of the week, as always. And you see, it's only good aspects. And this is really amazing. They're all sextiles and trines, and they're powerful. They're rare. And this is a shift. You're going to feel a shift. And you probably already are, after last weekend with the full moon and the Uranus Cazimi. You've got Jupiter, your ruler with the nodes, and Chiron. You're doing some really deep healing, personal transformation, spiritual awakening, all of that. And congratulations, because remember what I told you in May, in your May forecast for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, we only have 2 squares this month, 2, challenging aspects, and they're gone. Those were last week, all right? And for some of y'all, it could have just been like a tiny speed bump, or you know what I mean? But anyway, this is amazing now, because at this point forward, you're moving into one of the most auspicious months of 2025 that I told you. That's May. And this is when you really feel it. Tuesday, May 20th, we have the Sun sextile Saturn. All right. So this is huge. And you see that the Sun is sextiling Neptune as well. And we'll talk about that. But the Sun sextile Saturn, let me tell you something here. This is at 29 degrees. That's a critical degree. We call it the anaretic degree. So 29 degrees in astrology. What comes after 29 degrees? 0, right? The Sun sextiling Saturn. Remember, Saturn is moving into Aries at 0. So this is kind of like a peak, a culmination, a graduation to the past few years where you've had Saturn in Pisces in your 4th house of home and family, ancestry, roots, the foundations of your life. Yeah, Saturn, remember, he tests you. You've had it here. And you've really felt it, especially if you're Sagittarius rising, or Sagittarius moon, but every Sagittarius have felt this, right? With partner, your significant other, children, family, all of that, real estate, home matters. There was some things that y'all been going through, all right? But now Saturn's leaving and you're graduating. You get your diploma, okay? And here's the other thing. Remember what I said. If you are Sagittarius Sun or even Moon, remember, sometimes what's happening within your world in that 4th house, it's not about you. Sometimes it's about the people that you know. Sometimes it's about your partner. It's your lover, your child, or you know what I mean? But it's that you're part of that journey. And so this is absolutely amazing. Because the Sun, right? This life force, optimism, energy, everything is with Saturn. Now, remember what I've been telling you for many months now. If you work with Saturn, especially this year, you work with Saturn, who is karma and life lessons, and he's been with the North Node, you will be rewarded. And here you go. Here is your diploma. Here's a reward. You went through the Saturn North Node conjunction. So really, really congratulate yourself at this point, because you've been going through so much, experiences in that area. And now he's giving you wings, because sextiles are windows of opportunity that help you thrive and grow and prosper before Saturn moves into a different area in your life. Okay. And so now this is again where you get rewarded. And remember what I told you, Saturn is now making things easier for you. And it's so not typical for Saturn. And he's still going to test you. That's what Saturn does. He's still going to put on the aviators, depending on certain aspects. He brings in the reality checks. That's Saturn. But it's for you to have that structure and discipline and longevity to what you've committed your time and energy into. All right. And now he's working with the sun to set you up, to build that bridge. The sextiles are windows of opportunity as well. And so Sun sextile Saturn, that's all about rewards. It's all about achievements, recognition, promotions, success for your effort. And it's happening at 29 degrees. So you will feel this throughout the week. All right. And Saturn is the authority. Remember that. So it honestly, it could be an authority figure opening doors for you. Saturn is also like the father figure. There could be a father here, a grandfather, a boss. It doesn't matter. There's just something here, a realtor. There's something here. Saturn, again, making things happen for you before he moves into Aries. And you only get this twice a year, Sun sextile Saturn. This is the last one this year. So please take that inspired action, all right, as you finish up all those lessons in your fourth house. And yes, he will come back this fall, right? But you've already learned 90% of, your lessons. So when he comes back into Pisces this fall, it's just like a check-in. That's all it is, all right? So you're going to get excited when I tell you what is happening when he moves into Aries. But if you are a cross watcher, if you watch for your rising or your moon, for your husband or for your lover, for your kid, for your daughter, whoever it is, right? Your, pet hamster, everybody is going to feel this. It's at 20. It's big. All right. But mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, as well as the fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius will feel it the most. I'm going to throw in Capricorn and Aries as well. Now, if you know your birth chart, if you have any planets between 27 to 2 degrees in any of the mutable or fixed signs that I mentioned, you're really going to feel this, okay? And remember, it doesn't matter which ones, right? Because we look at the angular aspects. Now, look at what's happening on the same day. We move into Gemini season. So for the next 4 weeks, this is going to be big for you. Because Gemini season is all about communication, learning new things, teaching, writing, travel, marketing, advertising, PR, building bridges, launching businesses, opening doors opening for you. And most of all, having the curiosity for the new. Okay? This is going to be big, right? Because this is in your 7th house. So what does that mean for Sagittarius? The big emphasis for you regarding everything I just said will be around partnerships, relationships, marriage, one-on-one commitments, as in your relationship with like your realtor or, wedding planner or a lawyer or a publicist or, stepmom, whatever it is, whatever resonates with you, and legal matters. Okay. Now, Gemini is super social and all about the mind. So this is all mind over matter, power to attract what you know you deserve. So check out your May forecast because I talk a lot more about this, okay? About Gemini season for you. But one last thing, just remember, Jupiter is here. Your ruling planet, Jupiter, is in Gemini, helping expand and grow and bring luck and fortune and wisdom and optimism and abundance through everything that I said. The fact that it's in Gemini, right? Contracts, agreements in your 7th house of legal contracts and commitments. You throw in Mars in Leo this week in your 9th house. There's an element of like, legal matters and the courts there too. Yeah, this is going to be a big time for you All right. So remember, this is a portal for the next 4 weeks for you where you have emphasis on that 7th house area of your chart. All right. Remember what happens the Monday after. We have one of the best new moons of 2025. This is the reason why. But then what's happening next week? Yeah. One of the best. And again, that's going to be in Gemini in your 7th house. You're signing something. You're signing something. You're getting married. There's something here with a new partnership. It can be career. It can be a side hustle that you're doing. Just keep your lines of communication open and try new things. And remember, it's like I don't even have to remind you this, Sagittarius, because Jupiter is your ruling planet. But Jupiter is faith and belief. But the one thing that I want you to know is that belief is translated biochemically. That's why one of the reasons I say vibrate at a high frequency and attract what you deserve. Gemini is the power of the mind, and Gemini is a twin. So very interesting what's happening for you. 2 things. 1, Gemini, when you've got Jupiter and Gemini, it often brings 2 choices, right? 2 opportunities, blessings in 2 areas, right? Secondly, it just means you have the power to choose, okay? You have the power to choose. So this week, choose. And every week, every day, every hour, every minute, every second, choose self-belief and self-love and gratitude and compassion and enlightenment. That's what vibrating at a high frequency is. And everything is made of energy. And I tell you that all the time. Remember, this is not just divination. This is science, literal science. When I say vibrate at a high frequency, Albert Einstein himself said, match the frequency of the reality you want, and you can't help but get that reality. And yeah, I do bring it up sometimes to remind you, okay? And I am going to emphasize it this week for 2 reasons, all right? The first reason is that Albert Einstein got what he wanted. All right. So you see his math works. Vibrating at that high frequency works. All right. Or science. And I'm going to bring him up later. So just use this Thursday or everything I said about Gemini season and everything that's happening right now. Thursday, May 22nd, you've got the Sun sextile Neptune. All right. So remember, Sun in Gemini now, sextiling Neptune in Aries. This is very fresh. Very new. Nobody on Earth has experienced this. All right. This is at 1 degree. This only happens twice a year, too. 1, 2 degrees. Listen, remember what I said, Neptune and Aries. And again, I do have that video. You can watch that because it's a big deal. All right. Really big deal for you, especially. Remember, Neptune and Aries, that archetype is spiritual warrior, compassionate leader, visionary leader, hero, energy, visionary artist, all of that for the greater good. This is enormously auspicious when it happens with the Sun sextile Saturn. The Sun is at full blast. Jupiter is expanding. Neptune is bringing in that heightened creativity and imagination and intuition, compassion, that visionary energy. So this brings in that level of spirituality, right, into your life. And you're going to see the difference it makes with meditation and self-belief and mantras and even your dreams. Neptune is dreams. I say pay attention to your dreams. What do I always also say? Neptune, vision boards, visualize, visualization. So what do I want you to do this day or this entire week? You'll feel it. All right. Days before, days after as well. It's strong. Think about 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Where do you want to be? Visualize it, okay? Put yourself on that timeline. Like I said, you create your reality. Einstein said that too, all right? The past, the present, the future, they're all happening right now. That's why you get to create it, all right? So tap into your inner artist, musician, filmmaker, photographer, playwright, all that Neptune, all that creative energy, but also your inner healer, your inner scientist, your inner metaphysicist. This is going to be beautiful. All right. Tim Burton, Frank Ocean, Versace, Mikey Madison, who just won that Oscar, right? They all have it in their charts. You see what you can do with this aspect. So just remember, you're on a karmic journey. And so use these, right, for the greater good. Everything that you do, that's why I always say take inspired actions. Everything has ripple effects. Look at all the good that you're going to be putting out there. Now, Neptune in Aries with Saturn, right? That's about to happen. Just a little heads up. I've told you this. Aries rules your 5th house, which is joy and pleasure, which is romance, true love. Okay. Soulmate energy. 5th house is family. It's children. It's procreation. It's sex. It's recreation. 5th house is absolutely amazing. We'll talk about it because you do have Jupiter moving into Cancer next month too. And that's going to make a big difference as well. All right. Now, on the same day, okay, you see that Venus is trining Mars. So, whoa. You got the 2 cosmic lovebirds in this powerful, harmonious aspect. Listen, we've had this a few times, but I told you this is going to be very different, right? Venus before it was like retrograde, or Mars was, retrograde, or Mars was in Cancer. This is different. This is fun. This is exciting. It's emotive. This is Riz, as the kids no longer say. You got Venus and Aries. You have Mars and Leo. You complete that picture, the fire signs, right? So you throw in the fact that we now have the Sun in Gemini. You got Jupiter in Gemini. You got Pluto in Aquarius. You got all this fire and air. This is magnetic. This is you being this magnet. So be social in all capacities. All right. All capacities. This is fun. So relationships, work, wherever you want to put this energy, just remember what I said. We don't have this again until 2027. Please take advantage of this. Creative projects, creativity, love, romance, sex, money, pleasure. That's Mars and Venus together. This is amazing. This is passion, by the way. And remember, you got Mars and Leo in your 9th house. And that is, you're the native ruler of the 9th house. That's very spiritual. That's very wisdom. That's inner wisdom. That's your worldview, your perspective on things. It's higher mind. It's education. Some of you are going to be teaching. Some of you are going to be learning. Some of you are going to be going back to school. Some of you are going to be traveling. This is your, 9th house. So long distance travel, book a trip, go to Hawaii. You know what I mean? Go Key West, depending on where you live. This is going to be absolutely amazing. And remember, it is also publishing and broadcasting. You working on the book? Starting a podcast? You may even be really, really into them around this time. And remember, Venus is in Aries, right? With Neptune, Saturn's right, he's at the door in your 5th house of joy and pleasure. Okay? So, huge. And 5th house is also, like I said, creativity and creative projects and recreation. And this is absolutely amazing for you. Please use this. All right. Now, the last thing, if Venus is what your heart desires and what brings you pleasure, Mars is the action you take to get it. So vibrate at that high frequency, because with this aspect, it's so strong. Remember what I said about you being a magnet? If you vibrate at that high frequency, you know how the law of attraction works, right? Things will just come to you. So please use this. I'm talking about kismet moments. I'm talking about sliding doors moments. Okay? This is the last Mars and the last Venus aspect we are going to have this month. Planetary. Of course, lunations, different story. We talk about in the second spread. So please go on a first date, go on a fun date. If you're in a relationship, do something different, right? Go, to the observatory with the kids, do something with your lover. Do something you've never done before. It's Gemini season. What I say, be curious, be creative, right? Dance, do some physical energy. This is Mars. Okay. Do the Carlton. Start a new Carlton. Start a new TikTok trend. All right? Go to the mall. Buy a hammock. It doesn't matter. Just do something. Build, do, feel. All right? But here's the kicker, Sagittarius, and this is why you are going to feel this, because the moon will be in Aries. All right? But that's not it. The moon will be in Aries, conjuncting Neptune and Ceres at 1 degree. So what does this even mean? It means that there's going to be a part of you where you're just going to want to take action. Remember, This is this is moon in Aries. This is being bold and courageous and spirited. But you got a conjunction here, triple conjunction in your fifth house of joy and pleasure and romance and true love and children and creativity. Sagittarius, this triple conjunction will be sextiling Pluto all weekend. What? You got to use this. All right. So again, we'll talk more about it because Chiron is with Eris. Remember what I said last week? Eris is Mars' sister, the goddess warrior, and they're perfecting this week. We'll talk about it in the second spread. All right. So you're gonna feel this week. I'm just looking at what's going, like all the fire signs. Yeah, you're really gonna, especially this aspect, big. There is one last lesson for you that Saturn's saying, oh, wait, I got one last lesson for you. That's going to be on Wednesday, May 21st. All right. Because we do have we have the moon, Saturn, and the North Node conjuncting in Pisces at 29 degrees, which is kind of like this last gasp in your fourth house. We'll talk about it in the second spread. Now we're at the weekend. Depending on where you live. I have all these empty cups. Here we go. May 23rd. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you one thing, and again, we'll talk about this second spread. We have one of the top like 3 lunations, the moon conjuncting Venus. Okay, and yeah, trining Mars. So, what did I just say? You got this in your fifth house of joy, pleasure, true love, romance, kids, creativity, creative projects, sex. I mean, this is Venus. Now, over the weekend, yeah, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Now, welcome to the least boring weekend of ever, May 24th, 25th, depending on where you live. Saturn officially moves into Aries. That's going to happen around 11:30 p.m. my time, Eastern Standard Time, Brooklyn time. You want to break that New York City time? Break it down. Wherever you live in the world. That's on May 24th at night. I will do a separate live stream or a video on what's happening here because, again, it's almost larger than life because it's not just Saturn moving into Aries. Remember, Neptune is here, but there's a lot of other things at play. But just know that this is, again, big history making. This is the first time Saturn's been in Aries since the late 90s. Think about what happened for you 1996, 1999 when it comes to joy, pleasure, children, family, all of that, everything. This is your fifth house. Yeah. But again, I say that, but this is different. You got Neptune here. Okay. But all the other, you can pick up little patterns from that time. It's going to be a very different experience you have. Now, this entire summer, up until September, okay, you have Saturn with Neptune, all right, giving you a preview of what your life is going to be like February 2026 and beyond, all right? But when I say preview, let me be a little bit more accurate here. You've already begun, all right? You're in stage 1, okay? Because why? Remember, mid-March, the 6-planet conjunction, and this is why I've been telling you, okay? We had that 6-planet conjunction over the 0-degree Aries point with a new moon solar eclipse in Aries, with the equinox in Aries, with Neptune moving into Aries. Venus was in Aries at that time. Remember, it flip-flopped between Pisces, Aries all year. You had Mercury in Aries. You got Eris, Chiron in Aries. Yeah, you've been working on this. You've already been putting in some work in your fifth house of joy and pleasure. Okay? Family, children, true love, romance, creative projects, children. Some of y'all think about having children, are wanting children, or grandkids. This is big. All right? Hobbies, don't forget that. Kickball, I don't know. You, by the way, remember Chiron actually moved into Aries in 2017. So some of y'all have been doing the work and you didn't even know. Like since 2017. Anyway, you're at the beginning of this new stage. Brave new world you're moving into. Brave because it's Aries, right? The big takeaway, what did I say in your monthly forecast? Out with the old, in with the new. I even said it last week, okay? Out with the old, in with the new. When you got planets, right? Big ones like this, moving into new signs. There you go. There you go. All right. So Pluto in Aquarius has already been breaking things down for you for your new era. And Pluto's been working with Saturn, who is karma, life lessons, discipline for new structures, new systems, a new direction in your life. So what's happening here, yes, it is once a lifetime. When you have Neptune and Saturn conjuncting in Aries, which hasn't happened in, 320 years? And yes, I said conjuncting. All summer, it's not it's all summer. It's from this moment, 0 to 1 degrees, they're going to be conjuncting. So what does that even mean? They're merging their qualities together. So this is powerful. This is big. And remember, they perfect February 2026. Just look at your annual forecast or your May forecast where I talk about this. But this is going to be big for you, and you will feel empowered, and you are going to empower, and you are going to inspire, and it's all to contribute to the collective. That's what this year is, right? That's what Pluto in Aquarius is. What did I say? Saturn is working with Pluto. Saturn's also working with Uranus, right? This is big. That's what makes this big, okay? So it didn't even matter who you are, right? You can be a writer, you can be a CEO, you can be a designer, an artist, a chef, a business owner, yeah? You can be a grandmother, a mother, a daughter, a son. Banana taster. It does not matter is what I'm saying. All that matters is that you matter because you are making new rules for this new beginning in your new era for two things. A, your role that you play contributing to the collective. And when I say that, it can just be your local community. It could be your family. It's the role that you play. Secondly, Saturn in Aries is all about mastery of self. Yeah? So, out with the old, in with the new. There's this new world forming, and you are creating it. Saturn is going to make you create it. That's what Saturn does. And don't forget the most critical rule, right? Wax on, wax off. But I told you this, all right? Saturn in Aries requires patience. That's why I said Mr. Miyagi. That's that energy, right? The two most powerful warriors are patience and time. Who said that? Sagittarius. You love wisdom. You rule the house of wisdom. I've brought him up too. Famous writer. Leave in the comments. No Googling, no cheating. You get a sticker if you get it. I'll give you a little preview. I don't even know. No, you'll get this. I don't even know what that is. Anyway, just remember, practice patience, slow and steady wins a race. Saturn, Kronos, time. He's the last of the traditional planets. Now, entering the beginning of the zodiac. What does that even mean? Aries is the first. Aries is, nothing would exist without Aries. I've explained this. Astrology wouldn't exist without Aries. So, yes, it is the beginning of something new for you. So, congratulations. You're coming to the end of a 29 and a half year cycle. What did I say about the late 90s? Saturn's back in Aries. Okay, Saturn is the world card in tarot. It's the end of the major arcana. Be proud of yourself and be excited about this new journey. He's traveling with Neptune, okay? The Hanged Man in tarot, connected to the world card. You can't make this up. Now, here's the other thing. And remember, no one on earth has experienced what we're about to, unless, you're a vampire or a mermaid. All right? So, you throw in the fact that Saturn, again, sextiling Uranus. Uranus is moving into Gemini in July, in 2 months from now. First time in 84 years. Listen, this is a million times better than Uranus and Taurus. You've been going through Uranus and Taurus since 2018, where Uranus is detriment, right? And you are a fire sign. You work better with that Gemini energy air. So Sagittarius I've already told you in past readings what you've been going through. I've told you what you can now look forward to. Your life is going to change in ways that you never thought could. Remember also the fact that Pluto is in Aquarius, first time in 250 years. Are you joking me? Right? So again, this is big for you. This is big for you. All right. So, and I did tell you Saturn is just atypically making things easy for you now, right? With these sextiles and these trines helping you, right? He is hard. He comes in hard. He puts on his aviators. You know this. He tests you. He's reality checks. And so, yeah, he'll still do that. That's Saturn. That's what he does. He shapes you, right? But again, it's like the teacher that's a little bit more, cool. He's got his collar slipped down. Then the teacher that, was got the ruler. So collar flipped down as you move into this. All right. But you will definitely feel it right off the bat because Saturn in Pisces is so different from Saturn in Aries. So different. I'll talk about it in the video that I do. All right. It's just a different, you feel Saturn in Aries. Okay. You will. But what it does, it helps you see a lot more clearly. All right. In terms of what gives you purpose and drive, what makes your life meaningful enough to do the work that Saturn requires. Okay. You're going to want to. Why? Because Saturn's moving into Aries. That fuel, that fire. It's like I said, it's very different than Saturn and Pisces. So get excited. And I want you to know, just real quick, Saturn in Aries, yeah, it is a contradiction. Saturn is slow. He is old. He's cold. He's heavy. He's got all the time in the world. He's patient. He's time, right? Aries is fast and young and fiery and fearless and impatient. And he doesn't wear a watch. You're going to see we'll talk about the second in the video that I do. So it's truly working with these new energies. Okay. But you throw in Neptune, you throw in Eris and Chiron, you throw in everything else that's happening. Very different vibe. All right. Just be mindful. As I've told you, Saturn and Neptune together, right? Neptune being, like dreams and your vision. Saturn can turn your dreams and your visions into reality. Okay. But the lower expression here, okay, can be illusion, delusion, escapism, self-sabotage, confusion, things like that. So that's why I'm saying vibrate at that higher frequency because those are the lower expressions. All right. Be the change you want to see in the world. Who said that? I brought him up. He born with Neptune in Aries. So wax on, wax off, okay? You're going to be rewarded. Learn, grow. You're going to have this plan. Go with the flow with the go. Because at this point, from this point forward, the past is the past, okay? Call the past for a reason, all right? You're entering this cycle. Everything is cyclical. I've told you that, okay? Everything is cycles. You're entering this new cycle that you've never experienced in your lifetime with Saturn and Neptune and Aries in your fifth house of joy and pleasure. And everything I said about the fifth house. So be ready to leave old structures and patterns and ways of thinking and even systems that you were used to for new ones, for this amazing new journey that you're about to embark on. All right. And yes, Albert Einstein had Saturn in Aries. Okay. So everyone's going to feel this, everybody, but early degrees. If you know your birth chart, 0 to 3 degrees. If you have any planets in any of the cardinal signs, all right? Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, you're going to feel this. Oh, you're going to feel it. All right? And you already are. You already are. Like I said, you've already been doing the work. So, yeah. I'm just seeing if there's anything else here. Well, yeah. Okay. So the same day you got Sun trine Pluto. I can't even, so again, another rare, we only get this twice a year. We've already had it, but again, it wasn't in, this is a lot. Like you will feel this one. You will feel this one, okay? In a really big way. This is profound. This is visceral. You may even feel it viscerally because it is this supercharge of energy, of power, where you feel unstoppable on top of the world. The sun is a life force, right? Pluto, power, empowerment, transformation in the sign of the future. I mean, this is like when you realize you got power you didn't even know you had in you. And this is when you start feeling things transforming your life, or you are doing things to transform your life, because this gives you that confidence and that self-belief and that self-esteem. You've already done your shadow work from last week, right? With that full moon, you already done it's gone. You're like, bring it on. You know, doors are opening for you at this point because you have the keys and you unlock them. That's what this is. This is the power of attraction, that life force energy with the planet of power. This is letting it be known, I've got a magic wand that with a jangle of keys. And so if there are doors closing, this aspect, this is when you kick it open. Okay? That's that confidence. You're like, no, this is the reality I want. Okay? Make sure nobody's around that door. Maybe you just open it. Okay, so air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I'm going to throw in Leo and Scorpio. Will feel this the most if you have planets in your chart 0 to 6 degrees in fixed or mutable signs. That includes you, Sagittarius. You'll feel it. All right. You know what you're also going to feel? You're going to feel restless. You're going to feel restless body and mind. Okay. This same day, because look, you got Mercury conjunct Uranus. Wow. You're going to feel it. Okay. And when I say restless in a good way, okay, like you're about to meet Brad Pitt. Okay. You're about to meet Miley Cyrus. Who are some other Sagittarians? I'm trying to think of others. Nostradamus, whoever. I don't know. Listen, Mercury conjunct Uranus in Taurus at 27 degrees. All right? I'm going to tell you why that you are going to feel this. It's powerful. This is once a year. This is a mic drop, right? Now, you already went through that Uranus Kazemi. This is very different with Mercury, okay? And Gemini. Oh, I'm sorry. Mercury in Taurus still, right? At 27 degrees. But with the sun in Gemini, we're in Gemini season. Jupiter in Gemini, very different. Okay. This is breakthroughs in work, finance, love, creative projects. Okay. Health matters. There's something here. Breakthroughs, right? Sparks of clarity. It's Mercury, the mind. So this is also when you have these rare light bulb moments, epiphanies about your future or new experiences out of the blue. Surprise messages or contracts or agreements, maybe some that you never thought you would ever sign. Remember, Uranus wants you to use him. I always say use these aspects. Uranus, the great awakener, right? So this is also you doing something, you saying something, you signing something. Uranus is freedom. At the end of the day, shake things up. He wants you to shake things up. Okay? This is also perspective. See things in new ways. This is happening in your 6th house of everyday activities and your routines. Okay? This and your lifestyle and health and work, colleagues, employees, everything. It's in Taurus, your physical realm, your interactions that you're having. And again, money, finances, maybe even food. And that's a big thing here. I want you to pay attention to what I just said, okay? Because this is happening in your 6th house. What I say, health matters, physical health as well, right? And then you have it happening in Taurus, which rules food. 6th house is natively ruled by Virgo, which rules the digestive system. So just be mindful. There may be this breakthrough where you're saying, I'm not going to eat carrot cake 14 times a day. I'm going to have it once a week. There's just something, right? Clarity. But again, most of it's going to be with your everyday activities, money, and work. All right? Creative projects too. And it's also saying think outside the box. All right. Excuse me. These two planets together, when you got Mercury and Uranus together, it's a very different vibe from the Uranus cazimi that we just had, because this is creative. This is inventive, innovative, original, even rebellious. It's pioneering. It's inspiring. It's all about your future. It's how you're seeing your future, having that shift, maybe even getting news about your future, telling news about your future. In the end, Uranus is the great awakener, okay? And also, he just wants change. He wants you to shake things up and have some change. All right. And remember what I said, 27 degrees, that is that mutable degree. Okay. It's a Gemini degree. And remember, you're a mutable sign. So you're definitely going to feel this. But the fact that it's it is a Gemini degree happening during Gemini season and Jupiter and Gemini. Listen, what I say about Gemini, it's all about communication and the mind and messages. So it could even be you having shocking ideas or revelations or conversations or whatever it is, right? But the biggest takeaway, there's something here that's radical and innovative and revolutionary and just breakthroughs. Even, again, mindset. It may be just your mindset about something, about how you want your life to be, your everyday activities, your routines. All right. Remember, freeing your mind, right? Free your mind. Q in Vogue. Free your mind and the rest will follow. So this is a day where you're going to do, say, or think something new or have a breakthrough. It's just going to happen. And it can happen in your physical world. There could be something here. Consider it a new cycle too. That's how conjunctions, they're strong. Let's just say this is not a boring day, because look at everything else that's happening at the same time. All right. So, and remember, it's part of this new moon that's happening 2 days from now. One of the best. And lastly, this is going to be the very last Mercury-Uranus conjunction in Taurus you will have in your lifetime. Okay. Remember what I just said, Uranus moving into Gemini in 2 months, and it's so much better for you. And Uranus and Gemini is so much better than Uranus and Taurus. We don't have this. Remember, it's 84 years. Okay. The next time Uranus will be in Taurus. All right. So have your breakthrough. And there's likely for a lot of y'all, something's just going to be shaken up for you to have this brand new journey with this new moon, setting you up for the new moon to come right after. Mercury is the lower octave of Uranus. That they're related. That's why it's a little bit more significant than the Uranus cazimi, even though that's still powerful. That's still powerful. But you're feeling this coming right after. The mind, communication, genius energy. Mercury and Uranus. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. All right? Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. 2 mutable signs like you. Okay, this is good for you. This is good. It's also, by the way, it's my life story, because I'm an Aquarius, I'm Gemini rising, and I'm Virgo moon. So if any of y'all have any listen. Anyway, fixed signs: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, Virgo, and Gemini will definitely feel it the most. And I am throwing in Sagittarius and Pisces. Okay, that completes the mutable signs, all the mutables. If you have any sign or planets in fixed signs, we're going to focus on fixed signs, 25 to 29 degrees in your chart. Yeah, it's happening in Taurus, fixed sign. You'll feel it. Bigly. And the other reason why you may just even want to change things up is because the moon will be in Taurus. We will talk about that. There's stuff happening there. All right, that's happening with the moon there as well in your 6th house. We'll talk about it in the second spread. May 25th, Mercury and Gemini. There you go. Great, wonderful. Mercury rules Gemini. I talked about this in your monthly forecast. Just know anything is going to be amplified with Mercury, or with anything that we talked about with Mercury, or anything with the sun and Gemini. Communication, travel, business, writing, ideas, networking, mindset, gaining knowledge. You're going to be meeting new people. You're going to be circulating. You're going to be craving stimulation. Remember, Jupiter's here. We have a stellium, Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter. So for the next 2 weeks, okay, just know that you're going to be very communicative. And remember, this is all in your 7th house of partnerships, relationships, legal matters, contracts. Throw in Mars and Leo in your 9th house. Yeah, that's a lot of y'all are signing stuff, because look at what's happening. The one thing I'm going to say is that This is just you. Okay. I'll do a separate video. Okay. Sedna. Maybe you've heard of Sedna. Maybe you've heard of Sedna. One of the reasons why 2025 is going to be the year that everything changes is because Sedna is up there with Pluto. Sedna's a dwarf planet like Pluto. But anyway, she's one of the reasons why. And it's been since the dawn of time that she's been in Gemini. And she's just now in Gemini at 0 degrees. All right. This is a big thing. All right. We'll talk about this. We will talk about this. So again, that's even for you a really big deal. Now, Mercury will sextile Saturn. So there you go. Remember, Mercury just moved into Gemini. Saturn just moved into Aries. So 0 degrees right here. How big is this? Huge. You are never going to have this again. Okay. At 0 degrees. No. Mercury sextile Saturn. Yeah, of course. You'll have it again. Next time will be next year. But at 0 degrees, the degree of creation, no, never. With a week like this, remember, this is going to be a big week. And now you've got something here where Saturn is setting you up for the long term. Okay. There's something here that's growing and brewing. And think about what I just said with the stellium in Gemini, and you got Mercury here sextiling Saturn. So this activates your 7th house, partnerships, relationships, legal matters, contracts, right? And then everything that I said about your 5th house, love, relationships, family, children, joy, pleasure, procreation, having babies, all of that, creative projects. This is big because this aspect is agreements, it's contracts, it's business deals, it's negotiating, it's decision making, it's communication, it's marketing, PR, whatever, right? There is something here you're signing, very likely, or at least making a verbal agreement when it comes to partnerships and relationships and legal matters. And you got to throw in all that Gemini energy. You got to throw in everything that's happening here. So yeah, you are possibly writing a book, or maybe you're going to start a website, or maybe you're going to redo your resume, or open a store, maybe an online store. Maybe you're becoming a teacher. Maybe you are going back to school. Maybe you are, becoming some mentor. Maybe you are going to be a lawyer. This is your 7th house. Your 9th house is activated. In any case, whatever is happening here, Saturn is bringing that promise for that long term. Okay. You got to put in the work, but this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. What is your magnus opus? What is the story that you want to tell? What is your contribution? So this is going to be really big, and everyone's going to feel this. It's 0 degrees, but cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, and mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, y'all are going to feel this the most. If you have any planets between 0 to 2 degrees, okay, in any of the signs that I just mentioned, you're going to feel it. And yes, you can go to 0 to 3 degrees, but you will, if you have it 0 to 2, you'll feel it strongly. So you see how everything is just setting you up for this new moon. That's why I'm so excited for you. That's why. And next week, there's more happening. Mercury trining Pluto. Remember, Pluto in Aquarius is in your 3rd house of contracts and agreements and communication anyway. This is big for you. Sagittarius, let's get started. Let's see what's going on for you. May 19th to the 25th. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Here we go. Sagittarius. All right. How are y'all doing? Y'all doing all right? Oh, gosh. I do a traditional culture cross spread, offers the best overview, especially for a weekly reading. And if we need to pull clarifiers, you know that we will, Sagittarius. I love y'all. Thanks so much for being here. Y'all, listen, your life is changing. And in a big way. And I think that you know that. Okay? And remember, a lot of this, you're just going to start seeing things gradually change. Like this is but a lot of y'all, I mean, again, every Sagittarius is different. You have different birth charts. You have different rising signs. It makes you different from every other Sagittarius in the world. Some of y'all may feel it like right off the bat. Let's get started. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Did I even we're gonna talk about in the second spread. I'm sorry. But Juno is still active. Juno is trining the North Node. Okay. And so that's gonna be a big thing for you. We'll talk about in the second spread. 5 of Wands. What's going on up here? Yeah? Or in your world, there's clearly like we need to see a little bit eye to eye, right? With some people, that's what this card is. It's just a lot of egos at play, but it's not worth your time. That's what this is, okay? It is a challenge card. It's at least challenging, but it is still Saturn in Leo. Okay, so you got a Saturn card. And if you're a cross-watcher, you've been seeing a lot of Saturn cards come up. So what is that one last thing that maybe is taking up too much headspace? Or what is that one last, that last gasp, right? Where there may be also even some, competitive energy here, but ego's at play. What is that thing that you're just like, okay, this is it. I got to rise above this. I got to be the one that says, okay, y'all, we need to all see eye to eye. All right. Can be a creative project. Okay. Can be work related. Can be health matters. But at the end of the day, it can be travel as well. Maybe you're planning a trip or coming back from a trip and there's a little bit of, it could be even, I don't know, you're on a plane, flight attendant is like, you can't, you got to turn your phone on, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, it's just not worth your time. And so there's that one last test right here that's saying rise above this and put it to bed. All right. The other thing is the main thing coming through is something up here for y'all. It's almost like part of your spiritual growth. There's something that you're going back and forth on. And I want you to ask yourself what that is. All right. Remember, I did say this is a Leo card. What did I say? You got Mars and Leo in your 9th house of, spirituality, of your perspective, how you're seeing things. You may be not seeing the same way with other people or vice versa. So remember, rising above it, being communicative and being responsive, not reactive, being very diplomatic, but at the end of the day, always being the best version of you. Okay? The best version of you in any situation because you have the Queen of Swords and the heart of your spread. That's amazing. This is all about, look at her in her throne. She's got a lot of power of the mind too. Remember, swords are communication. Okay. Swords are, thinking, logic, everything up here, ideas. And what I say this whole week is with Mercury being very active as well. So keep that in mind. Okay. Queen of Swords, this is great. This is you coming into your power. What I say, you're going to have a lot of power this week. And using that sword as a force of good, as in, look at the sword pointing straight to the sky, to the cosmos, right? To the divine. This is truth. Truth, your personal truth, facing any of your truths, but also that truth in any situation. True, like, it's like this profound moment of like clarity. You've got your head above the clouds, and there's something here where you're like, you know what? No, I've thought about this, and I'm gonna be fair about this, but we got to do it this way. Okay, that's the Queen of Swords. Because sure, she's left all her emotions at the door, right? It's the Queen of Swords, right? Not the Queen of Cups. And it's not saying that she's heartless, right? It's just saying she doesn't want her emotions to cloud her judgment. But you see her hand. It's saying, come talk to me, right? So there's an element of you needing to have that moment of this is got to be this way. We're open to compromise, but I'm being very diplomatic, but I've got to have power and voice and thought as well and how things go this week. Queen of Swords is Libra, by the way. Libra rules, partnerships, relationships natively, as we know. And then remember what I said, you have a lot happening in partnerships and relationships. So there may be something here. And again, it can be love, it can be career, it can be anything. But when you throw Juno in the mix, yeah, that's a big thing. We'll talk about it in the second spread. Anyway, because Juno is linked to Libra and is all about the balance of power in partnerships, relationships, contracts, fidelity, infidelity, marriage, all of that, everything I mentioned. Temperance in your challenge area. That's your card. Temperance is your card. It's Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, two things here. It does seem like there is a little bit of let's be patient, right? What did I say? Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off this week. Temperance is all about patience. It's all about moderation. It's all about, you know what I mean? Like that's temperance, okay? It's saying, listen, there's a path. You're going to get there. Don't stress. Don't worry. I've got you. You got Archangel Michael saying, I've got you, okay? Ask yourself, when was the last time stressing or worrying did anything good for you? That's you just getting in your own way. And that's why this is amplifying that message of practice that patience. Know that everything that you want, despite anything that you may see in a way that like, you're going to be fine. But this is saying you're not believing in yourself, right? You're not believing that you're guided. You're not believing any of that. So really, really tap into that energy where it's like, I got this. Everything is going to work out. All right. This is more about you. You know, you see, okay, foot in the water, foot in the land, right? So it's almost like merging what's possible and what's real. So spend some time thinking about that. And when you do that, whatever you come up with, know that you're going to get there. It doesn't matter. You're going to get there. All right. The second thing is, there is likely someone who may be in your life that's a little we're gonna have to see eye to eye, and that's why you have to leave emotions at the door, think more logically, more fair, more right, true perception right here. You're the one that sees clearly in a situation when it involves someone else. But just remember, swords are powerful. With great power comes great responsibility. Now, 6 of Cups, 9 of Cups, absolutely amazing. That's emotion. That's love. That's feeling, right? That's intuition, even wonderment. That is a word. Yeah, it is. 6 of Cups, really great in your crown. That's saying that's what you want. Listen, this is tapping into your inner child. This is letting your hair down. This is saying, there's comfort. There's security. That's what I want. I don't want to worry. I don't want to stress. You see that security guard all the way in the back? You see him? Very tiny figure here. He's leaving. They don't need him. Okay? This is saying, this is what you essentially want, right? To be in a place where you can let your hair down and you don't have to stress. You don't have to worry. This is a card of harmony. And this is cups. This emotions and feelings, like I said. But it's in your crown. So there's this connection with your emotions, spiritually, mentally, everything. That's that harmony. So have that moving forward. You got the 9 of Cups. There's something you really, 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 really want. And for a lot of y'all, it's already happening. It's a card of like satisfaction. All right. It's a card of enlightenment. You see the cups aligned over his head. Okay. So, and it is the wish come true card. It's like that wish coming true. So, the fact that this is a Pisces card, right? The 9 of Cups. Remember, everything is leaving Pisces. You have the North Node in Pisces. There's something that you're learning here and something that is feeling really good as you move on to the next stage, right? With Saturn. So it's very interesting what's happening for you because a lot of y'all are going to be getting what you want, but you've got to take that action and, don't let anyone push you in a certain direction. It's all about you. It's all about you. Have what you want. Have what you feel. And then you've got that Four of Swords. So there is this element of like protection, and the Four of Swords is that retreat of the mind and meditation. Everything that I said with the Sun, Sextile, Neptune, everything like this is going to be wonderful for you. It's almost like there's something that you have to do that you know that you have to do, and there is that relief. There's that okay. I get to because there is so much comfort and protection here too. Look at all the light coming through. As the knight here has that little retreat, you see the swords. They're pointing down. Look at where they're pointing down to. Heart chakra, throat chakra, crown chakra. Everything is aligning. This is you finally getting that, right? But you've got to take that action to whatever it is and listen to someone. It really is opening your lines of communication. Let's get to your stuff. Sagittarius, wow, let me do, oh my gosh, okay. If you like this reading, it would be great if you like, subscribe, leave comments, tell me what's going on. I love y'all. All right, let's, get this last one. All right, so, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, you're good. You're absolutely good. You got to take action there. That's something it's a big message here. Yeah. This happened. You got the Magician, the beginning of this new journey and this is the beginning of the Fool's journey. And this card 1, right? Remember what I said, all these aspects that are happening at 2901, like this is big. This is saying you have the tools. This is the power of manifestation, the power to make anything happen, anything you want. The magic, right? With the Magician, the ether, the dodecahedron, everything is here. So you've got to have that self-belief, but you also have to take that action. Another active card, right? The Magician, as above, so below. Anything you want, you see all tools of tarot at his disposal. Anything you want. So there is an element of here of like, you really have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe everything. Like, don't doubt yourself. She has no doubt in the world. She's sitting in that throne for a reason. She went through, if you knew her backstory, there's a reason she's sitting here. Okay. She went through some things, and y'all did too. And now it's like, now I've got the power. I'm going to change everything. You got the 10 of Wands here. All right. In your external factors area. How interesting, right? That's your card too. Actually, that is Saturn and Sagittarius. So this card, 2 things. 1, it is a 10. You're coming to the end. There's one big journey that was almost, there was a lot of, right? This is burnout energy. So remember, you create your reality. You got to see your path forward. What I say, even visualize, but just making sure that you know the direction. It seems like you will. All right. But he's carrying so many wands, he can't see where he's going. Are you taking on a lot? Is there, right? Too much going on? Drop a wand or 2. In a sense, again, there is that sense of like graduation and celebration. But do you want to enjoy it, or do you want to just move into it like, right? So keep that in mind. Secondly, yeah, there is someone in your life where they may be going through some things. Remember, you have a lot of emphasis on other people, okay, in your life with that 7th house activated. So just keep that in mind, okay? But there is something coming to the end here, and I feel like you're part of this, all right? 5 of Pentacles. I don't mind it where it falls in your stuff. It's saying, I've effing gone through it. No more. I don't want this anymore. That's why you have the Queen of Swords in the heart of your spread. I don't want to feel disconnected spiritually. I don't want to feel things in my physical world like, I don't want to feel any of that. And yeah, this card is actually attributed to Mercury and Taurus. Mercury is still in Taurus before it moves into Gemini this week. And that is your 6th house. So 6th house is also health. There could be something here with health. These 2 people, by the way, are also focusing on their plight. All right. They're literally outside of church. And there's a sense of like kind of refusing to see all the support around them. And so this is two things here. One, you're done. You're just like, I don't want to feel this way anymore. Okay. And that's great. And there is almost a sense of when I say someone else is involved, it's clear as day here. Because you are even having that vision of like this perfect, like everything, no more stress in this area with another person. And it can be anyone, work, career, family. But this is also saying, yeah, if there's anything moving forward, it would be, if that would get in your way, it would be a kind of like having this almost like a feeling of like just feeling things won't work out. But again, you create your reality, vibrate at a high frequency. You have to believe in yourself, and it will. Think Albert Einstein. All right. But the bigger message coming through is that it's done. It's over. You don't want it anymore. You're taking action for not feeling that way. And then you have the death card in your final outcome. So you are good AF. Yeah. And it's so funny. There was another sign that did get the death card. And every time the death card comes out, I always say it. I'm like, this card does not come out enough. Look at you. All right. What I talked about the sun earlier too. Listen, outside of the actual sun card, the sun only appears in a few cards. And it's here. And the death card, you see it coming out in the horizon. That's optimism, opportunities. This is out with the old, in with the new. The death card that's what it is. Okay. This is this big transformation happening in your life in a really big way, in a humongous way, like an auspicious. Look at the direction you're moving. Okay. But there's one last thing that you've got to sort, but you've got to believe in yourself. Okay. And it does feel like there is some great stuff that's you may be already feeling that's happening, and that may be inspiring you. Okay. Anyway, oh my gosh. Sagittarius, y'all, let's, all right. So the second spread, yes, we're going to talk about this triple conjunction that's happening in your fifth house of joy and pleasure. We're going to talk about this triple conjunction that's happening with your North Node. There's one last thing that has to do with family, home, and things like that. There's, real estate. We'll talk about Juno, very active. All these planetoids, asteroids, they've come out to play. Tier 3 members, you know where to find the link. Anyone's welcome to join. We have so much fun. And if you like this reading, it'd be great if you like, subscribe, leave comments. Y'all are amazing. Next week, you know what happens next week. Okay. So remember, everything's leading up to next week for that new beginning. Like, that's amazing. Y'all are amazing. All right, Sagittarius, I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.